Welcome to Breaking It Down. I'm Erik Fretland. On today's segment, we're going to take a look at a few plays from OU's game against Kansas this past Saturday. While I hesitate to use a game against Kansas as a measuring stick for where this OU team is at, there were still quite a few encouraging things to take from the game as OU handled Kansas like they should have. The first play we're going to take a look at was a 3rd and long conversion late in the first quarter with the Sooners in the shadow of their own end zone. Because Kansas has OU in a 3rd and long situation, Lincoln Riley anticipates that Kansas will be in a type of man coverage, and he calls the perfect play to take advantage of this.
Over the middle to Mixon. Shakes a man to the 20. And he's dropped by Fish-Smithson.
On this play, the Sooners come out in a 4 wide receiver formation with Joe Mixon in the backfield. Got Dahu Green, Mark Andrews on the inside slot, Michael Jones, and D.D. Westbrook. The goal of this play from the beginning is to get the ball into Joe Mixon's hands in space and then let him pick up yards after the catch to get the first down. As mentioned earlier, the success of this play is contingent on Kansas running man coverage. This linebacker is responsible for Joe Mixon, one-on-one. This linebacker is responsible for Mark Andrews, and the other 3 underneath defenders are also responsible for their individual receivers. On this play, the 2 outside receivers are essentially clearing out space for Mixon once he catches the ball. Mixon starts the play by running a shallow crossing route. He runs through the offensive lineman and then across the formation right at the line of scrimmage. The linebacker responsible for covering him recognizes what he's doing and starts to come down and starts to follow him across the formation. However, Mark Andrews is also running a shallow crossing route coming back this way. Instead of running a route as a valid receiving option on this play, he comes and sets a pick on this linebacker who's trying to follow Mixon this way. The linebacker covering Andrews, who assumes that Andrews is a valid receiving option on the play, is following him this way and is not anticipating the possibility of needing to switch or anything of the sort. Once Mixon makes his cut this way and Andrews is able to set the pick on the linebacker, Mixon gets free into space because, again, this linebacker is still with Andrews, and Mixon is able to catch the ball, and because those 2 defenders have been cleared out as well, he's able to turn up the field, pick up not just the 11 yards needed for the first down, but an additional 10 on top of that. One more thing about the key to the success of this play is that Mixon must be absolutely certain to not run past the line of scrimmage before the ball is thrown, because if he does, then this pick, or actually it's a block, that Mark Andrews sets on this linebacker turns into offensive pass interference. At a time where Kansas had all the momentum, having just forced a fumble on D.D. Westbrook, OU's defense needed to step up and make a play, and that's exactly what Jordan Thomas did. He played his responsibility perfectly on this play, first taking away the deep route to the receiver on his side of the field, and then coming back to the sideline and making an extremely athletic play on the ball and getting the ball right back into the hands of OU's offense. One other positive that OU fans can take from this game was the way that Lincoln Riley kept Mark Andrews involved on offense, despite his recent struggles catching the ball. One way Riley did this was putting Andrews in position to catch short, easy passes, and then using his size and athleticism to break tackles and make plays after the catch.
Shakes a man. Touchdown, Sooners.
After the defensive debacle last week against Texas Tech, it was encouraging to see a much better performance this week against Kansas. Not only did individual players perform better, but also there were a few schematic changes made by Mike Stoops that were also encouraging to see. The most impactful of these was his newfound willingness to substitute defensive players to better match up with offensive formations and personnel packages. For example, last week when Texas Tech came out in their 5 wide receiver formation, Stoops left both inside linebackers on the field, which caused matchup problems with Texas Tech's slot receivers. However, this week against Kansas, when they came out in their 5 wide receiver formation, not only did Mike Stoops take Emmanuel Beal and Jordan Evans off the field, he also took a defensive lineman off the field and brought in 3 new defensive backs, which gives OU a much more favorable matchup in obvious passing situations. Thanks again for watching Breaking It Down. I'm Erik Fretland, and we'll see you next week.